Well, a Hong Kong court has sentenced former democracy advocate Benny Tai to 10 years in prison in the longest sentence ever imposed under a China-imposed security law. Our China correspondent Minmin joins us now from the West Kowloon Magistrates Court. This is significant, Min.
Yes, and today, the weather was rainy, it was windy, and that didn't stop many of these supporters from coming, queuing outside the courthouse this morning, wrapping around this building in their umbrellas. And just now, it was quite an emotional moment where the sentences were handed out. We saw some of the supporters come out, shouting that this is really unfair, this is really unfair. There was another woman holding up a sign that said, "The righteous will live and the evil will surely die," and she was immediately taken away by the police. And as you said earlier, Benny Tai, one of the most prominent ones here who is convicted today, he is sentenced to 10 years in prison. In some ways, this is the best case scenario under the circumstances because that is the lowest in the sentencing guideline. The maximum penalty was up to life in prison, and he was deemed as the principal organizer of this unofficial primary election that took place in 2020. It was deemed as an attempt to undermine the city government because the defendants had intended to gain a majority in the Legislative Council to be able to block the city leader's agenda and to theoretically force the step down of Carrie Lam, the chief executive at that time. Now, another key figure, Joshua Wong, is someone you might recognize. He is the face of the Umbrella Movement in 2014. He got 4.6 years in prison for participating in that unofficial primary election. The rest got a various length of sentences. Claudia Moore, for instance, another ex-lawmaker who was also a former AFP reporter, she got 50 years in prison, and we're still digesting the lengthy 82-page report that details the reasons for this sentencing.
And Min, wide-ranging implications on the prospect for democracy, the prospect for rule of law in Hong Kong. It is set to raise condemnation from the Western countries.
Yes, already this case is very closely scrutinized, and a number of conditions around this case has departed from common law tradition. For example, the defendants are not granted a jury trial, and instead they are being trialed by 3 judges handpicked by the chief executive. Many of the defendants had already been in jail for about 3 years or so, and because they were denied bail, and that had drawn criticism. And as you said, not only are countries criticizing or rather questioning whether the judiciary is independent, it's also the business community that are closely watching this. We know that Hong Kong has been trying to attract foreign investors. They are turning to regions like the Middle East, and Hong Kong last year lost the status of being the freest economy in the world to Singapore before regaining it again this year. And that rule of law, that openness, the independence of judiciary had for a long time been important pillars that really underpinned Hong Kong's status as this global financial hub.